I'm Scott Al Miller. It's the 4th of October, 2022, and this is my vlog of daily life in León, Nicaragua. And being the 4th of October, that means that today is my 19th wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary to Dominica, my wife. We have been together a very long time, 21 years that we've been together, 19 years married. And today, we don't have a lot of plans for our anniversary because we are heading to Costa Rica next week, and we're kind of saving up for that. So we're gonna have kind of an anniversary trip with the kids to Costa Rica for 4 days, I think, the 11th to the 15th. Not a big trip, but it's also one we can just do by bus. It's really neat being able to just hop a bus, and we're heading down to San Jose, so we're gonna be hanging out in the capital, which I mentioned yesterday has some museums I'm very interested in, but also I'm just excited to go check out the cold weather because it is a large capital up in the mountains and is known for its very pleasant weather. It is also twice the size of Managua, so it's a good sized city, and I've actually never spent time there, so really looking forward to that. Been to Costa Rica a few times, never spent time in the capital, which is pretty important. It's a really important city in the entire Central American region. It has a lot of interesting stuff, neat architecture, history, and a lot of just things that other cities in the region don't tend to have. Of course, something like Guatemala City does, but the rest of us have to go pretty far afield to get a lot of those things. So looking forward to that quite a bit. That's going to be cool. For our anniversary, what we did, I had to work all day, she had to work all day. It was a busy day in general. And then this evening, we went out and went to Il Capriccio, the Italian restaurant that we like in León next to Unan, and got dinner there. And that was really it. It was just our little romantic sitting by the open door Italian restaurant dinner in downtown. And then we got food to go for the kids to bring back for them. So pretty simple as that goes. I'm going to cross here. For those who are wondering, I'm on 8th. I'm in Sutiava and just wandering down the street. Decently relaxed today. So on today's topic, because that was it. That's our anniversary. That was kind of it. We're traveling and looking forward to that. And it has been a busy week on the show. Just a lot going on, a lot of editing. And oh my gosh, there's a new road. Oh my gosh, there's an entire new road. Screw our topics. We're going to go investigate this. So for those of you who've been, wow, how did a new road come in? For those of you who've been watching the show for some time, you should recognize where I am. This is in, I think this is the corner of 8th and 8th, but I normally get that wrong. It's probably 8th and 7th. There is a park, and you'll recognize this bus stop, and this is where I come down and get breakfast once in a while on the street. This is where the river comes through under. It's one of the spots where it's a north-south. It's not a big river. This is not the Escondido or whatever. No, the Chiquito. This is just a little like drainage river. And this has always been a big dirt spot, and some people would walk up this dirt path on the back of it. And I'd be like, oh, there's houses and stuff living down this little dirt path. And so I encourage you to go back and find those episodes. Heaven only knows when I last recorded here. But this is absolutely amazing. I'm building this up too much. I'm going to turn the camera around and you're going to be like, what the heck, Scott? There's nothing here. But you'll remember I recorded kids under this tree. I've many times I've stood in this spot and recorded, and many times I've walked by. And this has always just been a big dirt patch up against this yellow wall, and that's it. This entire road is new. That's all pavers. And where does it go? We're gonna find out. This was all just a dirt patch, and that was just a dirt path going back there, and I never went back there. But now there's a road, and we are off on an adventure. And I can't believe how many vehicles I've already seen go by on this little path that wasn't here before. I can't believe anyone knows about it, and there's someone on a bicycle. This is crazy. So, oh my gosh, this is all new. I have to be the first person to film this, like for real, because I'm here all the time. And how did this get here so fast? I don't know. And of course, it doesn't look brand new, right? I mean, it kind of looks new, but it doesn't entirely. Hola, buenas tardes. And this is a really cute little road that just didn't exist before. This is the kind of stuff that I love that's going on here in the country. There is just regular upgrades and improvements happening everywhere. So all of this was inaccessible by vehicles previously. Hola! And now it's, what a cute area exists along this really cute little, because this is like a half-size road, right? This is like a really meant for bicycles and walking, which is perfect because you don't need a lot of cars going everywhere and a little dirt. You can see what the roads were like before. Hola, buenas tardes. Hola. It's adios. It is definitely a unusual occurrence to have someone filming down here, as there was no road. Hola. Actually, I can't be the first. He's filming me right there. That's hilarious. I'm being filmed filming the neighborhood. But this is really cool. And so this is the traditional barrio down here that's being upgraded. And so this is all the farther that they've made it so far with the road. And wow, it's bright over there. But this is interesting that even back here, this is most likely a church in the past. And this is what a lot of Nicaragua looked like when we first lived here a number of years ago, before all the roads came in. So in 2015, there was much more like what you would find. And this, it's amazing how much just a little road takes and turns, hola, turns everything into a completely different neighborhood. It really makes a big change. It makes it much more accessible, and you can get in and out and explore things. How cool. So, I don't know. Sorry, that completely caught me by surprise. I had no idea that this new road was here. You can see there's a pulperia here with a Claro dealer. And it's, it's neat because I walk this area all the time, and this snuck in. I mean, this is only a few minutes from my house, so on foot. So just very, very surprising. And I'm not sure. Otra vez. And yeah, so there's a side road here. This is what this was all what it was like before, just like this. Now I don't know what this big building is here. Probably some kind of agricultural building. And come back to these kids. Everybody's clearly excited to have. Actually, I want to show this. It's pretty cool. I'm guessing some kind of animals were kept in there. Wow, this clearly hasn't been used in a long time. So my topic that I meant to talk about today, my intended topic of the day, was the hola otra vez. Buenas tardes. And then the water comes along here. If it wasn't for the trash in the water, if this water was clean, this would be, well, there's no water now, but if the water was clean and there's water flowing, this is a really cute waterway. You have the moss-covered rocks going through, and it's really tight. Like, it really formed in a neat way through here. And a reminder to myself that hopefully I pay attention. Today I am filming on flat profile, so I need to apply some LUTs to make this look extra nice today, or there's gonna be no color. So gotta make sure I do that. So this is just a lot of surprise. My thing that I was gonna say today is my big thing, my two surprise things that after a long time here in Nicaragua that really are things I don't like. One is uneven sidewalks. And of course, right now I'm walking on pretty good ones, or none, just on the road. But so much of the country, and at some point I need to pay attention as I walk through the city and film the sidewalks. The sidewalks are so insane. They have so many gaps in them, so many uneven things, so much up and down. Times you'll end up 4 feet above the next spot. You have to jump, and it's just, it's something. And there'll be big holes right in the middle, just enough for your foot to go through, so you really can twist an ankle. And here we have another shot. You can see where we just were down there. Like, seriously, it's like an entire new community becomes accessible to the rest of the city just by doing that. And you know, people who knew there was stuff down there, the path was really hidden. If you watch my old videos, every so often you'll see kids pop out of this little dirt path, and it's like, oh, somewhere down that path is probably a house or two, but it's really hidden, and it doesn't give you the impression that there's anything down there at all. And in reality, that's an entire community hiding down that little road. So that was interesting, really, really interesting. Now in 2015, completely distracted from the sidewalks. You know what, let's just save that for tomorrow. In 2015, when we used to live here, the country was very different. And one of the things that we ran into a lot is there were a lot of shanty towns, like really, really poor areas, no houses. It was mostly like lean-to structures, very weak structures. Clearly the space wasn't clearly delimited, all kinds of things. And it was depressing and very hard to really get to know and understand the country, because it was an experience so dramatic from our own. And we had some of the same when we were in Panama, also in 2015, that there would be lots of the country that we were in was really, really nice. And of course, Panama is ridiculously affluent, but there will also be areas that were so dramatically poor that they didn't really even have houses. And so we got a little bit used to that in Panama, and when we came to Nicaragua, they were everywhere. When we lived in Granada, I would go walking and regularly end up in these communities. And of course, a lot of people were like, oh, it's not safe, you got to be careful. And that's not really the case. It's just people who can't afford homes. It doesn't make it dangerous, but it is a place where you feel very much out of place for those reasons, right? It's not the kind of place you really want to walk through and be filming, and you do feel awkward most of the time, and that remains true. And I ran into the same thing when we were in Matagalpa. There's a ruta full of people heading off somewhere on an adventure, most likely. And when I went to Matagalpa in 2015, I would end up in shanty towns very easily. Now when I go to Matagalpa, I'm ending up in very affluent areas with new construction and big, beautiful houses. The economy has changed so much in these last 7 years. It really is a different world. And that is one of the first places that I've actually stumbled onto actual shanties here in Leon after all this time. And Granada has changed too. If you go around Granada to the places where I was before, those are mostly gone. They're replaced with decent housing. It may be poorer housing, it may be small housing, but the country, and when we were here in 2015, there was already a big push for this, right? New, small, affordable housing was coming in quickly, and we would see ads for it everywhere, and everybody was talking about it. There'd be billboards showing it off, and it's really, at least the ones that we were seeing, really quality housing. The prices are approachable, and you know, it's not large, but you don't need large, right? It's an outdoor lifestyle. It's good weather, and I say that as I'm starting to sweat. And having really, really good housing is quite accessible with a little bit of effort. And so generally the pricing is about $25,000 for land and a house and everything built if you're trying to get to a pretty nice. I've heard people say that construction can be done for about $5,000. I know people who've done it for $13,000 as expats, which of course is much harder. We're gonna say hi to this doggy. Hello, you're very handsome, just hanging out there. You are, yeah. But everybody's like, they're filming my dog. Oh, hola, hola. That was hello baby, in case you couldn't hear it. And, so $5,000 is what I've heard as the low end cost to construct a house if you know what you're doing, do a lot of the work yourself. $13,000 is the lowest I've heard of an expat doing it, and $25,000 is the lowest I've heard for pre-built with land in a gated community, small but quite nice. And I've shown some of those, and I'm going to pretty soon on the show going to show some more, and that's a good feel, right? Those numbers are what are transforming the country. That the really, really difficult housing, the really worst of the housing, is going away at a rapid pace, whether it's because they're putting in roads and making it possible to do more construction, to update the communities, they're making them more accessible, able to put pulperias in, things like that, bringing internet into, I mean, I'm sure all those places have internet already. But it really is amazing how much that has changed. And if we were having the same conversations in 2015, I would often be saying, well, you know, this area, I don't want to walk down there. I don't want to show this to you because it feels uncomfortable. And I don't know if it's really appropriate for me to be there in a lot of cases. And that has essentially gone away. I never have to worry about that when I'm out walking around anymore. And what a difference that is. And that makes me really happy that I'm consistently able to go around and explore and say, wow, this is another great neighborhood. And some are obviously much more affluent than others. Some have a different mix of houses and homes than others. Some still have some really, really poor things, but it's much more the exception now and not something we're running into regularly. And I'm not ending up randomly stuck in a neighborhood that is like that. That's really not the situation anymore. And that's just, it's so nice for me to see the country that I care about so much coming so far in such a short period of time. 7 years is not very long, and the amount that you see different is just unreal. So that's an amazing experience to me every day, that I get to walk around and see the improvements. And of course, some things still exist, right? Some things that need big improvements still. And I'm going to turn the camera around because it's the perfect timing for this. But so we have this corner. I'm at this beautiful pulperia that I'm standing on. You can't really see it because I'm standing in it. And then there's this pulperia across the street, which is basically, I think, a pet food store. And sometimes you get pulperias that specialize in pet food. Oh my gosh, I just fell off the sidewalk. I'm wearing, you've seen my silver sunglasses, and these really distort the ground to me. And I misjudged how far down it was significantly and just dropped on my broken foot way too hard from way too high up. So I also want to point out, this is interesting. So hopefully you can see this here. So I'm standing at the corner. This is where I walked down earlier. And then this is 8th here. So this is La Barrio over there, and this is Sutiava over here. And at this intersection, there is this street drain. And they just have a fence around it, and it just drains, and it's actually quite attractive. And it creates like almost a park. I wish that the fences didn't have to be here and this could actually be a park, but this is mostly handling storm water. So it handles not at times where it's a trickle. This is for when it's really, really storming. Everybody's laughing. And you can see that the homes along here have to have bridges to get to their houses because of the amount of water that goes under there. Like when this is raining, this is seriously a river. So that river that we just walked by and that community that we just went by that's built along the water, this is actually the water that turns into that. So this goes down here and goes past a row of houses where we walked earlier. Then it goes into, there's a woods between here and the next street, not a big woods, obviously. And it goes into that and then flows under the road and then is where we were walking and goes along that new road there. So that's really interesting that this is where it comes from and how it turns into that, because it's like, where does this river come from in this city? Because there's no river coming through the city, and it's literally the streets just kind of lean down, and you can kind of see in front of me La Barrio. Guy on a bicycle with a giant fan. He's bicycling hard enough that the fan is going. He's like wandering around the middle of the road, and he almost got run over. So that was the honking. Crossing the road now while there's a safe moment. It's interesting. So La Barrio in front of me has higher ground, and up on Ruben del Rio is higher ground, and there's kind of a rise behind me. So the water flowing here doesn't want to go into Sutiava. So it ends up that a huge area, probably 10 blocks or so, are emptying into that point, and then that's where the water pressure is basically going off to. I'm just going to turn you around because it's a beautiful day out here. I've got a great breeze, and I love this tree. I love that whatever type of tree that is. They're just gorgeous, the colors. You know, often you see them as bushes. Oh, hola! Buenas tardes. Today would have been a really good day to have my business cards. I do get to mention that my business cards for the show have been printed. Only the first 25. Should be another 25 later this week. Marcella has them and she's bringing them down from Managua on Friday. We're going to try them out, hand out as many as I can, and if we like them, going to try to order 1,000 to have before I head to Costa Rica. That feels like it won't work. That feels like too much to do and too little time. I don't know how they will get from Managua to me before I leave, so that may be a pipe dream. And really, how many am I going to hand out in Costa Rica? Not that many, but handing them out on these walks is really what I want to be able to do, because there's so many people that I run into and everybody wants to say hi, and they would love it if they knew how to find the show and could see themselves, and that would be a lot of fun. So my plan is primarily for these kinds of walks, going through the city. Hola! These kinds of walks, and this cute doggy hiding in the doorway. He's watching me. And you can see in front of me, this is the rise, right? This is why the water comes flooding down the street to that corner, because of this elevation change. And there's so much I do these walks, and of course there's no easy way to give people information about the show, but everybody has a cell phone. Everybody could be subscribing on YouTube and finding themselves, which would be really neat, because it's not something that happens very often. Buenas tardes. And so that is my plan. That's why I want to have the business cards when I'm doing these walks anywhere in any city. Anyone who's interested, or when we're at restaurants or whatever, just makes it so much easier to communicate what we're working on. So cool. That is our surprise bit of new Sutiava barrio walk for the day. Totally unexpected. I'll just save my topics for tomorrow. That's easy. Now I have another topic. That's good, because I'm always short on topics. Always. I mean, I know you guys have things you have questions about, but you know, I only have so much time to mentally think about all the things I want to talk to you guys about. And then I've never seen this door open on the corner before. This is the beauty salon. Security guard in the door. Buenas tardes. And yeah, it takes a lot of work to produce this show, a lot of energy. So that is our day. This house on the right, so beautiful. They are friends with Clive, so I'm really hoping we get a tour of it sometime soon. All right. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave your comments and questions below. If you want to support the channel, and so many of you are, thank you so much. Buy me a coffee. There's links below. Of course, if you're in IT or just generally interested in what it is I do, my book is on Amazon. It is my name, Scott Allen Miller, Linux Administration Best Practices. I would love if you got my book and left an awesome review. That would make my life so much easier. And thank you so much for supporting the channel, whether you're with your presence or in some other way. It's much appreciated. And our new show, Central American Living, that's Central American Living, not Central America Living, is out on YouTube. There is one 1-minute episode. We are doing vertical format shorts, and it went up technically tomorrow, but by the time I'm recording this, it's already up, already has hundreds of views, and it's very basic, and it's a show about a house that we already showed here on the channel on the walk the other day. But we're going to be doing these short form, really quick, like 1-minute house tours. We don't have the TikTok ready yet, but we're going to have that soon, and it'll be going, the same content will be going to both locations. So whether you like TikTok or YouTube Shorts, you can consume it either way. And we're going to get out there with just these quick little glimpses of here's a house, and in this case, here's a house, here's its price, info, location, done. That's it. But enough for you to go, oh, that's what a house would look like in that area for that price? Like, neat. And we think this like 1-minute shorts format may be really cool for looking at houses. We then plan to edit those things into longer form shows where we actually show quite a bit of a house and have a walkthrough and a discussion and a little bit more like an HGTV episode about a home. So we want to do all of that, but we're starting with just these simple shorts, and really it's kind of a demo of what we're going to do. It's not exactly the final format. We're going to be using different cameras. We're going to be doing voiceover. We're going to be doing a lot of things, but we didn't have any way to do that, and our filming was done while looking for an apartment or a house for April, my co-host, and so we had to kind of work around the fact that we were actually doing something and not just there for filming. By the way, this is Servicio Rápido Clau Dos. This is my neighbor's hot dog stand. Wait, it's funny that you find these little hot dog places or elote places, or there's different types of fast food just nestled into the neighborhoods all over the place. I love it. It's so It's so different from a zoning perspective than what I'm used to back home. It really adds so much interest. I love that you can just walk around and there's always something somewhere. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. I will see all of you tomorrow.